Minecraft Legends isn't what I expected at all. To be fair, that's on me. I just saw the first trailer and didn't really do any more research since then. Then I got an email from Microsoft saying, hey, want some codes? So they hooked me up with 2 codes, one for me, one for my girlfriend, and we played through the whole campaign co-op. The campaign took us around 11 hours, but honestly a lot of that was kind of just on us. You could probably speed run this pretty fast. So let's talk about what it really is. A procedurally generated Age of Empires where you actually control your character on a horse. So yeah, you're a character on a horse, you can swing your sword. This has no upgrades, by the way. I expected that, and I felt that was kind of lacking. All you can choose for yourself is a skin, and you can find different mounts in the world, and that's kind of cool, which are also procedural. So your world may not have mounts that someone else's world has, but you have a sword and that's it. You can swing it. Your area of attack's very limited. I found mouse and keyboard to be particularly tricky for this because it's just this little area in front of you, and WASD, you don't really have the full 360 degrees of movement, but because the game plays like an RTS, keyboard and mouse was easier for that. But without question, a thumbstick made that actual combat easier. To be fair, that's not something you really need to do very much. This game is much more about managing your units and base building. So that I actually had a lot of fun with. You have a variety of different structures you unlock as you go. The basic stuff like arrow towers, walls, spawners. You hold a button on, they spawn those types. Then you get a little more advanced. Some structures repair everything in the vicinity. Some things turn everything to stone, make them stronger, increase fire rate of your towers and the like. Even a Redstone Launcher, which I'll get to again later because it was OP. Your basic gameplay loop with this game is creating a forward operating base anywhere you want, which is pretty fun. I did take a lot of joy in that, especially considering that, again, your environment is your own. It's randomly generated, so you're finding the ideal spot where you want to rally before attacking an enemy base, which are littered around the map. And there's also a really cool ability that you don't have right away, but it gets rid of nether. So the basic story is that all these piglins are invading the world, and all your normal Minecraft mobs have to band together. I thought that was kind of a cool twist, and I got a good smile out of the intro cinematic where it actually nodded towards normal Minecraft. It's like, hey, guy who's just mining away in his town, we got to bring you to an RTS. Let's get it.
He inspired us to seek your aid. You see, our world is under attack.
It's being devoured.
And it is a danger only you can prevent. Time is of the essence. Will you help us? Thank you. Now step forward, brave hero, and join us.
And you have to fight alongside creepers and skeleton archers and stuff against piglins. Oh, that was kind of fun. Honestly, it took me a bit to get used to creepers because I kept seeing them being like, oh, that's right, they're buddies. So these enemies pop up in these nether enriched areas, and you can't spawn stuff on nether. So you actually do have a tool that eats up the nether and therefore allows you to build there. So I found my usual loop was eating up some nether so I can get a little closer to the enemy base, spawning a well, which allows you to teleport there, and you'll respawn there when you die, throwing a bunch of towers around it, building some basic walls, some spawners, because they'll obviously start attacking your base as well, and then going in. You engage in these little instances of what is essentially Age of Empires. Some of them are kind of trickier. They're like on these like higher up surfaces where you need to craft a ramp. But you can only build that so high, so you need to like make a staircase to like a lower one or find a clever way to build your way up into where they are. So I found a clever way once of using a mushroom to build up onto that and then build up from the mushroom onto the thing. There's a fair amount of emergent gameplay here that I didn't expect. You can really tackle these however you want, especially with unit types and the like. Once I got good, I kind of became an expert of creepers. It was daunting at first learning how to do the micromanagement. And honestly, I never really figured out by the end of it. It's not like it's the most complex system ever, right? You don't have a top-down view, but your FOV slider in the settings menu does change how far back the camera is. If you want to play it a little closer, you can. It does feel more immersive that way, certainly, but it hinders your ability to have that God view and really micromanage. So I found kind of a nice middle ground there. But there is a rather convoluted menu that allows you to select unit groups and unit types and send them in like one by one. So really, once you learn that every tower takes blank amount of creeper explosions, you can kind of run in, go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you start wiping out everything. It is Minecraft, so there is mining. You have these fairy things called allays that gather resources for you. So you plop it down somewhere, and over time, it will gather those resources. So you can find a big old mountain and be like, I want all of that stone. And you can go for it. Obviously, everything needs resources, right? Everything needs different types of resources. And then you need to upgrade how much you can carry of those types of resources so that being able to have more means you can build more fancy structures and the like. And that also allows you to do sort of terraforming, more for trees, right? You can't like really get rid rid of ground. But there were a couple times where I'm like, I want to build here. And so I just dropped a bunch of allies and they just took out all the trees. There's a day and night cycle in the game, and by night, everything gets powered up, and they also tend to attack your villages. It'll warn you beforehand. It'll say, hey, this village tonight is going to be attacked. So you're going to want to go there, manage your resources, build it up. And sometimes they're pretty strong. Like, you'd be surprised if you run into a group of enemies, sometimes they'll just whap you. If they do beat a village, all you have to do is go and take it back. I did like the full freedom of co-op. You could literally play this whole game and never see your 1 to 3 other co-op teammates. Like, first, essentially, like, you guys can do whatever you want. I think that's kind of fun. You do whatever. So we would often work together. One person would be somewhere defending a village and building it up, and I'd be out there gathering resources. So going back to it, I wanted to touch on the Redstone Launcher. You can create this long-range cannon that you can also buff to shoot more often, to shoot farther, to explode more, and you can just make a ton of them. And so there are times when you could just destroy an enemy's base by just setting up a bunch of these and constantly selecting them, firing, selecting them, firing. Honestly, it felt like a lot of fun though, because it is a lot of work. To be fair, takes a lot of resources, and they're really slow. Even with upgrades like that, you fire them and you gotta wait a good long while before you can fire again. I'm sitting here going, I don't got a job, you know? I'll wait all day. You just chill up there. Now, multiplayer for this game came as a surprise. I can see it being incredibly intense. I was invited to a Discord server of other people with early access. You can play against CPU, that's how I warmed up, and then I did some 2v2s. And these really feel like Age of Empires. You're starting, you got nothing. You have to examine your area. What kind of materials you have around you. Like, oh, we got a bunch of coal. We better build some coal upgrades. We might as well make use of that. There are enemy buildings in the world that if you go to those and destroy those, you get absolutely much needed resources that you need to upgrade your stuff. So very typically, you'll see an early game strategy of at least one player on each team running to an enemy base to take it out, get their resources, and upgrade their stuff. One game that I played was super cool. I was smiling the whole time. A player on the other team seemed particularly skilled. We were a little afraid. I mean, I was at least. I didn't know how it was going to play out. He kept placing arrow towers in the middle of the forest that would just be annoying me all the time. So I told my teammate, hey, stay home, build defenses, build upgrades for us. I'm gonna go poke the bear. And as I mentioned before, I figured out the creeper strategy. So I would run in with a group of creepers, throw 2 at a wall, blow it up. Throw 2 at a wall, blow it up. And for clarity here, if you just press E in this case, it sends all your units. And what that means is that often you could have 20, 30 creepers and they'll all go in and explode. Doesn't matter if it already blew up or you don't need that much firepower, they'll all blow up. So to succeed in a competitive environment, you really need to know how many creepers it would take to blow up one base. So 2 to a wall, 2 to a wall, 2 to a wall, and I would go in and this would keep them on their toes. They would have to fall back. They would have to constantly think that they were under attack and had to deal with it. But I saw their base and they had like 5 layers of walls. And I'm like, this is a problem. Our base has 1 tiny wall. If they were just more aggressive, we'd probably lose. So I figured, what's a really good way to just keep poking the bear? I noticed behind their house, they had a waterfront and a mountain. So I said, I don't think they're gonna see me if I just swim to behind this mountain, make a mini base, because you can build anywhere, right? Make a little base, spawn creepers there, and keep running in and just annoying them. And I did over and over and over again. And they would always have to come back and we'd engage in hand-to-hand combat, which again, very clunky, especially on mouse and keyboard. And there's no real way to tell like how much health they have. There's this one time where I almost got this amazing clip here. This would have been a double kill because I asked him afterward, I said, how low are you? He said, half a heart. So you just got to commit, just be strong. Fight it out, don't run away. As I'm getting them weaker, they find my secret base. I go, oh no, it's now or never. Teammate, this is it. My base is, I'm sure they're back there destroying it. We need to just commit and bring everything you have. So he goes, okay, and he abandons our base. And he runs up to the enemy with me. So I die, I'm like, oh, it's so close. It's so low, it's almost there. And he goes, don't worry, I have a redstone cannon. And sure enough, for the win, he sets up this long-range cannon and goes, woo, right to the enemy base. Easy peasy, done deal. As a bonus, just like single player, multiplayer has random animals that you can switch your ride with as well. And they do have different traits. I didn't really dive into this, but like you can get a beetle that can kind of crawl up walls. The bird that I like using the most can just hover. So if you get on top of a mountain, you can just fly all the way across the map essentially. But they have these tigers and I'm like, I'm jealous. I want a tiger. Oh, and I stole one, right? Like I stole that tiger from over there, which made me, I was very happy about that. Multiplayer can be up to 4v4 and I can see it getting seriously intense. I'm told some games lasted almost 2 hours. I believe the environment gets tougher on you, like bigger enemies will start attacking your base and stuff just to annoy you to keep the game going. But yeah, again, if you are into RTSs, you'll really like this game. Or if you just like Minecraft or something, I still think you'll like it because there are a variety of difficulty options. I bumped it up a bit. We didn't go too hard. We just wanted to make it a little tougher on us because honestly, I didn't like this game when I first started playing it. We were just plowing through stuff and it was a little bit too much to take in, but also not enough. Like I didn't feel the depth. I didn't feel very excited. And it's because it was just too easy. Like once I upped the difficulty, we had a lot more fun. I almost want to play again. again. I almost want to start a new level again. Random new level would be exciting. Play on harder. Apparently it makes the world bigger as well. There are also Lost Legends, which are challenge scenarios. In this case, it was just, survive 20 waves. It was tough. You barely get any time to prepare between rounds. You'd unlock a unique skin if you beat it. We got to wave 20 and it just unloaded these huge dudes who came in and just crushed our portal, and it was very sad. In short, I'm impressed with the game. I'm impressed that we clocked that many hours and it really went by quite quickly because everything were these discrete scenarios, right? Like every base we battled, you're building an entirely new base and you're kind of thinking differently. A bunch to explore. There were more than one thing that irked me. For instance, if you're standing on a spawner, you can't really melee, or like you kind of can't. It just doesn't work very well. In both single player and multiplayer, I ran into this issue where I was trying to hit something, but it just wouldn't let me. I was just standing there like little annoyances here and there. Sometimes my mobs just wouldn't follow me, or they'd fall off edges, and like they're just too dumb sometimes. They don't like hills, they don't like inclines, and which is weird because a lot of the times you have to make ramps to attack enemy bases and they get stuck and you're like, where did everybody go? Ideally, these things will be fixed. I don't, it'd be nice. At the end of the day, I think it's just a pretty cool use of the Minecraft IP. Something I did not expect, and something that was just honestly a jolly good time. It's a management game. Having friends will ease some of that pain and make it more fun. Thanks so much for watching. This is kind of just off the top of my head, fresh in the mind. I mean, I just played a lot of hours this game over the past couple days, and I genuinely want to play more, and I think that's a good sign. Thanks for watching. Later.